Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today I would like to cover the Omega Men. This episode will be a bit of a retrospective on the Omega Men title in general and why, as a 13-year-old kid, I was so drawn to it. I say I was 13 at the time. This was published in 1983 by DC Comics. My brother and I was becoming an avid comic collector, but my brother was kind of a casual comic collector, and so we would split our grass cutting and paper route money at Ides Comics for the new offerings that came out. And I remember at the time, I was the one who was going to buy Camelot 3000, which was coming out around the same time as this, and my brother was buying Omega Men. So we kind of would share the books. Probably about 6 months after this plan was enacted, my brother got out of collecting comics and basically handed me all of his Omega Men. So what I have here today are four of my favorite issues of the title in its early stages, first year or so. And of course, we've got to start with the first one. Pretty awesome cover. I was immediately drawn to it. I mean, this has all the elements of a superhero book with the added benefits of some sci-fi trappings. You got your big, strong guy. You have your kind of your mysterious leader. You've got your savage brawler type, your wizard type in Nimbus, and there's some exoticism with Harpus and the sorceress Callistra. Really cool. And Demonia there, who can forget her? And we loved their appearance in Teen Titans, and we wanted more. And we were going to get a whole heck of a lot more with this. We have this incredible Keith Giffen, Mike DiCarlo artwork here. Writer initially is Roger Slifer. And this book, my brother and I noticed immediately, was not a Comics Code book. As you can see, the action in here is brutal. As the Omega Men are introduced, they kill these Citadel troopers who are cannibalizing that Dural Crystal Prospector made big mistake to land on Slag. He did. Be happy he came, though. Now, not so boring. No one else stupid enough to break Citadel rules. So they're eating this poor guy. And the Omega Men show up and dispense quick and harsh justice. As Tygor here can transform. So cool, visually stunning, and of course, Baxter paper. It's so awesome, so great. I loved Primus. He was so cool with his psionic powers, mainly telekinesis. And some said he had telepathy, and we'll get into that. Oh, I love this ad for the original D&D. This definitely was one of the things that brought me into tabletop roleplay for sure. Here we have another great shot of our Omega Men. Brood, Primus, Tygor. I love how the shade here shows Tygor transforming. The action is just brutal in this. No holds barred. We loved it. The gore. It was so cool. And the Omega Men were great. They were fighting for a cause. They were freedom fighters. I love Primus here using his powers. End this quickly. I don't share your bloodlust, nor do I, if only they understood our pain. Here, Demonia, who will become a pivotal figure in issue 4, is exacting more vengeance on these Citadel troopers. And all of this continuity had already been established prior to this issue in Teen Titans, the pages of Teen Titans. The incredible Starfire, Coriandor / Blackfire storyline. And even here, Giffen is developing his style as we move along. This is a much more traditional style, but we can see what this one amounts to a 12-panel grid. His ability to tell a story with different page layouts, really impressive. This is so tight. These pencils are so nice with these DiCarlo inks. Really cool. Giffen would not stay on the book too long. Here we have a nice flashback here to Green Lantern and Teen Titans. But he would make a huge impact on the book, Giffen would. And already we see the seeds of dissent in the band. Perhaps we should see whose way is most effective. Gentlemen, please, we are all extremely tired. May I suggest we discuss this in the morning? And here, of course, we love this. I mean, as a 13-year-old kid, who wouldn't love this? The love scene here with Callistra and Primus, really cool. Strategically placed hair, very, very good. Yeah, and the Omega Men were 100 strong, but we, of course, we're seeing the core team here. So the main members, they have other members. And of course, Brute is such a tragic figure. His race, they are pacifists, but of course, you get to learn Brute's terrible origin. The Citadel killed his son, and he turned away from pacifism. And here they're going to try to recruit Brute's people, and Brute is basically an outcast because he turned away from pacifism. Great piece here by Roger Slipher on how the Omega Men came to be as a title. And the Citadel knows they can take advantage of Brute's people. But of course, this is incredible, this sequence. It is the least painful method of transport as we agreed. Now cease your wailing. No, you will cause no more pain. This time, this baby will stay with its parent. Brazen creature. You don't believe in fighting, remember, coward? What other race would be so base as to give up their own children for peace? I see, Gordanian, you don't know. Brute is different. Different? How different? Very. And he literally pulls him apart here. Pop! What an incredible sound effect. And he just murders these guys, these terrible child stealers. They get what's coming to them. But of course, Brute's people are steadfast pacifists. And he is even more of an outcast, and his wife will have no part of him. And great, we have this incredible house ad for subscribing to the Omega Men. Primus, Master of Psionic Power. Callistra, Sorceress Supreme. Tygor, Bloodthirsty Battler. Nimbus, Wielder of the Deadly Dark Touch. Brute, Mighty and Tragic Defender. It all begins here in December. So, great. Meanwhile, Colin with, of course, Brooke Shields reading a copy of Superman. What could be more 80s than that? So what a fantastic first issue. Incredible, almost, and a splash page here at the end showing a nuclear explosion. So that was issue 1. Now we're going to move on to issue 3. And of course, what is most notable about issue 3, and we didn't know it at the time, and this is sadly a facsimile edition. This is the first appearance of Lobo. I do like, in DC, once again, to point out, their facsimile editions are much better than Marvel's. They don't use slick paper. They use almost this Baxter-like matte paper, which reproduces the artwork really well and is more true to how it would have shown up when it came out in 1983, 1984. Really great here. And here's Demonia. This is laying the, she's actually a sleeper agent for the Citadel, and she's laying the groundwork to undo the Omega Men from within. There's I think this character's name is Schlagen. This is sort of weirdly named. And again, this Giffen artwork is just awesome. And Mike DiCarlo on the inks. Giffen, like John Byrne, can really draw anything. Yeah, Schlagen. Oh, that's an unfortunate name. So at some point here, Lobo is going to show up. And here, again, we have that tension building between Primus and Tygor. I've had just about enough of your laying our setbacks at my feet. Things aren't as simple as you make them out to be. You saw what really happened to Shangri-Lan. That was Brute's planet. All I see is that the last hope for the Vegan star system is breaking up right and left because you can't hold it together. Oh, this guy's the medic. So here is Lobo and his fellow bounty hunter, who we're gonna visit in a later issue in this retrospective. And here we see just a hint of Lobo's incredible power. With a deadly flick of his finger, his finger sends Humbeck's nose cartilage back into his brain, and his brain just back. Humbeck has drawn his last cartoon. So this is actually an homage to cartoonist Fred Humbeck. And here his name is Humbeck. He's a member of the Omega Men, a freedom fighter, and he's no more here. We see how powerful Lobo is. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what this guy's name is. I forget, and they haven't named him yet, but he's a Lobo's partner in this. And they're just gacking these Omega Men. Someday on the show, I'm going to cover Amethyst. It may only get 40 views, but I'm still going to cover it because I think it's awesome. Back to our story here. These guys it's just a murder fest. And here is probably the most tragic aspect of this issue. This scoundrel, Harpus, is about to take it to him, and he stuns her with an explosion, smashes her head against the wall, and literally rips her wings off. It's just brutal. Callistra's using her magic against Lobo. And he, of course, uses these alien creatures to capture her and overcome her magic. So they have her. They're going to bring her, presumably, to the Citadel. And here, through this crazy process, they transform her into this monstrous form. What an incredible ending page here. Just, wow. The death of an Omega Man. Enough said, no lie. We ain't kidding. So this was issue 3. So let's jump to issue 4. This was, for the longest time, probably my single favorite issue of Omega Man. It vacillates back and forth between this one, number 1. And actually, these 4 issues I'm talking about in this episode are really my favorites. And again, we have Keith Giffen and Mike DiCarlo on the art. Roger Slipher still writing. And look at the body horror in this opening sequence here as Callistra is horribly transformed into this beast by this alien. And here, they think they're rescuing Callistra, but that's actually the beast. And this is actually Callistra. So this unnamed guy in this incredible sequence risks everything to save her. But does he? No, she's starting to regain her features. The Griegsgurt must have died on impact, reversing its metabolic process. Dulac, this is Rourke. I'm bringing her in. Yeah, she's going to be okay. So this guy, Rourke, was quite a hero. And the leader of the Citadel is not happy that she got away. Now, we have the crux of the story. Demonia is going to spring the final aspects of her plan. She's going to use Felicity to ensorcel Tigor into making a move against Primus's leadership of the Omega Men. And in here, Primus, between issues 3 and 4, I think it happened in issue 2, Primus had his eye injured. And we get a flashback here giving us the Omega Man's origin in brief. Primus's old costume. Much prefer this costume. Much cooler. You ask me, that's been the problem. Tigor? Listen, I've finally been convinced. For all your planning, nothing ever pans out. We sit around cooling our heels, and every second people are murdered in droves. Look, you and your ass kissers can do what you want, although it looks like even they got tired of your meditating. Me, I'm cutting out, and anybody that wants to come back, kick the Citadel's butts can come with me. So, Primus tries to reassert his leadership, and things start getting physical here. The Citadel is barbaric, cruel, and merciless. Our only hope is outthinking them. You can't win your way. I think we can. A strike at the Citadel homeworld is the last thing they will expect. So get out of my way. We're leaving, even if we have to go through you. So they decide to slug it out over combat, and Primus quickly realizes he's outclassed. We have an incredible fight sequence ahead of us here. So Primus is doing his best, but he's getting his butt kicked. Great use of Giffen in DeCarlo's artwork and the colors to show just how badly Primus is being beaten. But Demonia is using a device to convince Tygor that Primus has mind-altering powers, and it drives Tygor crazy, and he practically disembowels Primus. What an incredible panel this is here. Primus doesn't get his psi shield up in time, but here he does. This is awesome too. Love panels like this where it's sort of insinuated what happened. Primus blasts Tygor through the wall. I hope that stopped him. I'm hurt real bad. I'm not sure I could muster another attack. Your power is driving me out of my mind. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And Primus is just a bloody, battered, half-dead mess. And Tygor figures it out. And he confronts Demonia, who can transform herself into a beast. But she's no match for Tygor's power. So he has him patch Primus up, and he's going to lead the Omega Men to eventual victory. Should take a quick look at the yellow, the letters page here just to see if there's anything interesting. Letter from TM Maple. All right, we're going to move on here to the final issue of this Omega Men retrospective, issue 14. So by this time, our creators have moved on. Roger Sliffer's gone, Keith Giffen's gone, DeCarlo's gone, and we sort of had kind of a unstable crew. But for a little while, Todd Klein was writing, Todd Smith and Ricardo Villagran did the artwork, and I really enjoy Todd Smith's artwork and Ricardo Villagran's artwork in this issue. This issue, called Confessions, is really kind of an amazing issue that touches back on the things that happened in issue 3 and 4 and ties them up a little bit. This is post-war. The Omega Men have won, but now they're dealing with the fallout of having won a rebellion. And Primus is in his cups because he's lost Callistra. He is drinking way too much. And Tygor, who still feels some kinship to him, wants to snap him out of it, so he drags Primus along to a trip to his old homeworld. Meanwhile, we have that bounty hunter, Lobo. Now, Lobo's not in this one, but that bounty hunter, who was Lobo's partner, is. The one who tore Harpus's wings off, that dastardly act. And here is Harpus, still suffering from the terrible trauma of being mutilated by that guy. And Harpus did not always look like this. She was a beautiful woman of her species before being transformed into this monstrous form by the Citadel. So she's got a lot of trauma, accumulated trauma to deal with. This guy's name is Bedlam. So he's being paid by someone to bring back Tygor and Primus, dead or alive. So Primus sobers up a bit, and they get to Tygor's home planet. When, as they're making atmosphere, this missile streaks out and nearly destroys their ship. But, crush it, I missed. Must be getting soft. It ain't all bad, though. Now I get to ride on Trigger down for the kill. And since they's both Omega Men scalps I'm going to be bringing back, I'll put on my favorite souvenir. So he has his cloak with Harpus's wings still on it, and that's going to pay forward in the story. Meanwhile, aboard the fiery craft, I can't hold it. Try cushioning our fall with your powers. Primus says, I can't. So they wreck, and look at these amazing, we're going to get a lot of these amazing sequences of Karna, which is Tygor's home planet. Just the lush vegetation and the wild predators that exist all over this crazy planet that was produced Tygor's people, who are themselves all bloodthirsty warriors. Primus explains here why he couldn't help. About my psi powers, I haven't told anyone, but ever since that eye wound, they've been unreliable. So, yeah, his eye wound occurred in issue number 2. Meanwhile, this giant predator leaps out and starts attacking the ship, thinking it's a wounded animal. Tygor transforms and carries Primus away from danger. Meanwhile, the original attacker was swarmed by a host of lesser predators. Come on, at least I know where we are. There's a spaceport we can reach in about 2 days, if we live that long. Meanwhile, back on Rashomon, Harpus's fellow Omega Men are trying to deal with her trauma. This is a sort of a cool vision of what she used to look like before her transformation. And they're going to use some controversial treatments here to try to help her. It looks like shock treatments almost. Back on Karna, Bedlam glides in electronic comfort toward the wreck. Oh, don't tell me. They burned up in the heap of junk? I always had such a hard time collecting on that kind of bounty, not to mention the mess it makes. But he finds quickly that they did escape, so he's going to pursue them. So we're going to have some pursuit here, and he catches up with them. Bedlam, so you're the one who shot us down. Tygor, don't stop. Yahoo! That's better. I hate a willing victim. So they're on the run, but Bedlam has to deal with the same unstable conditions on this planet as Tygor and Primus, and he suffers an attack that destroys his craft. So now he's ground-bound as well, but he still has his blaster. So tough as it's been, this trip has been good for me, you know. I've discovered I do want to survive, and that I can't give up my feelings for Callista. So much stands between us now, but I have to keep trying to reach her. So Primus and Tygor kind of come to some sort of rapprochement in their troubled existence. The Tygor was about to let Primus in on a secret of his own. He kind of bigged himself up and told everyone he was a commander here on Karna, but that's going to turn out to not be true. But here they're in sight of the spaceport. Love this panel here. Tygor gets them a vine they can use to traverse down this mountainside using his powers, and Primus just kind of smirking. Pivotal timing here in this moment as they're about to do the treatment, the main treatment to restore Harpus's psyche. And even if they could hear their friend's scream of agony, Tygor and Primus would be unable to respond. Okay, wise and cunning leader, now what? Hey, come on, this is your planet. Right, only I forgot about the local welcoming committee. Can you make it back up? Guess I'll have to try. No need for that, fellers. I'll save you all the trouble. No, please, not yet. It's not enough, Doctor. Raise the level higher. So as they're increasing the energy level on Harpus, this is going down a whole planet away, a system away, really. But somehow Harpus still has a link to her wings. And in that critical moment, she spoils Bedlam's aim as her wings take off and lift Bedlam off of the mountainside here and drop him into this waiting melee of carnivores. So Harpus, on some level, has the last laugh here. Yes, I fly to meet them. Yes. Great use of this sort of device. There was always a little level of mysticism in the Omega Men, in addition to all the sci-fi, which I loved, especially with Callista and Nimbus. So here, Tygor is about to get blasted, and he's able to summon his powers. He strains at his psi powers, desperately searching for the elusive relay in his brain. Tygor! Now that Tygor, that was me. So here, they are effectively captured by Tygor's own people, and he is actually known as a deserter among his people. But Primus, kind of famous as leader of the Omega Men, bails Tygor out with an impassioned speech about how Tygor led the strike on the Citadel. And so they are given new raiment, a new ship, and Tygor is absolved of his past crimes. Thank you, Tygor. And since we're on the subject, I want you to know you're the most conceited, inconsiderate, nasty son of a kit I've ever met. What? Yeah, I am, ain't I? Come on, let's get out of here before the old man changes his mind. Hey, you think I'm bad? Let me tell you a story. And then at the end we get this great panel, Bedlam is still alive. He's too good a villain to just kill off. So we will probably see him again. So, quick check of the letters page here, just to see if anyone notable is on there. Looks like folks are in general are happy with Todd Smith's artwork as he took over from Giffen. Eventually, Sean McManus would come on the title, and while I appreciate his artwork, it really wasn't my cup of tea, and I didn't stay with the book after that. So, but Omega Men, always been a favorite title of mine from DC's 80s period, and I was happy to share it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I'll bring you more soon on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.